T-Rox here. Let me introduce you to Twisted Visions Summer 2024. It's a little YouTuber challenge with a bunch of Brisbane YouTubers in it. There's Cam from Cam Carter's Adventures. There's Rebecca from Love, Life and Travel. There's Rob from WalkaboutWithRob. There's myself.
T-Rox here. Hang on. Is that my taxi?
And Adam from the Brisbane channel. And we've got one topic and we've got 10 days to make a 10-minute video on that one topic. Test our creative interpretation to see what we come up with. I think we need to get into it. I better go.
In doing my research to answer this question, I was surprised to find these. Brisbane is full of bogans? Is this true? As I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I'm originally from Sydney, and years ago the perception in Sydney was that Brisbane was a bit slow, something of a backwater, a bit of a hick town. In fact, some people compared Brisbane and Queensland to the deep south of the United States. It was believed that some of the worst aspects of Australian culture thrived up here. And that included bogans. And apparently, there were lots of them.
So, what's a bogan? The term has changed and evolved over the decades. Kylie Mole on The Comedy Company used it as a general term of abuse for anyone she didn't like. Incredibly though, the name stuck and soon entered the vernacular. The word bogan appeared in the Australian National Dictionary, which described it as a boorish and uncouth person. But then something else happened, and I think it was in the 1990s. Bogan supplanted ochre. Barry McKenzie and Crocodile Dundee made way for poida.
G'day. Welcome to Current Affairs. I'm Poida. And they're turning up with like half a stubby or two is blue, right? Going in the bathtub, getting a six-pack of VB, cold, mind you, right? Then going in the lounge room, taking Barnesy off the stereo and putting stupid Michael Bolton on.
Poida. From the TV show Full Frontal, he defines bogan culture. So what makes up bogan culture? It is exemplified by a heavy accent.
And he goes, "Don't be a hero, mate." And I said, "I'm not trying to be a hero, but the police are coming." And he just decided he'd scoot up the road.
A pack of Winfield Blue cigarettes, a mullet, stretched jeans, a hotted up Commodore, listening to heavy metal music, and not paying for things like train tickets or groceries. And bogans often misspell their children's names. Rather than giving their child an unusual name, they simply misspell a common one. For example, Riley becomes Riley, 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 or Riley. Oh, and hooning. Lots of hooning. Fun fact, the most impounded and crushed bogan cars include Holden Commodores, Nissan Skylines, Ford Falcons, and Mitsubishi Magnas. The latter is of course a mercy killing. These days though, bogans generally cannot afford a Holden Torana. Very few people are aware that the first recognisably bogan to exist was actually Queensland's third Premier, Sir Robert Mackenzie, in the 1860s. Mackenzie was of Scottish origin, and he is known to have refashioned a kilt into a light winter jacket that he sported occasionally during sittings of Parliament between 1867 and 1868. Also, Mackenzie was known to ride his horse fast and recklessly along Queen Street, causing alarm and distress to the locals. He even once made his horse leap over a near-sighted seamstress with gay abandon, causing her to fall into a ditch. Interestingly, his horse was named Tirana, after the capital city of Albania. Bishop James Quinn railed against the Premier in a sermon he delivered at St. Stephen's Chapel, denouncing him as a brigand, a villain, and a man unfit to be in control of a horse, let alone a British colony. Other shameful acts associated with Premier Mackenzie were heavy tobacco and opium use, which he obtained at Frogs Hollow, now the area roughly between Elizabeth and Alice Streets. Mackenzie is known to have run amok in this district, visiting many houses of ill repute. And when he was finally too tired, he was known to walk amok. He soon lost his job and his state benefits and returned to Scotland.
According to the Ford Forum website and citing an article from the Courier Mail newspaper, of the top 10 hooning spots in Queensland, only one of them is from Brisbane, and that's Oxley. So, what's really going on here in Brisbane? According to the Brisbane Times, June 27, 2017, Brisbane folk are overwhelmingly single, atheist, and making money, i.e. not bogans. And there are 9% more self-righteous beards and man buns in Brisbane than there are in snooty Melbourne. No doubt that fact will send Melburnians into a dither like hysterical chickens on an arterial road. And according to this statistic that I didn't make up, in terms of crime, Brisbane is far safer than Melbourne, and only slightly more dangerous than Sydney.
If any further proof were required, the TV show Bogan Hunters, as reported by the Daily Mail, stated that Tasmania is the undisputed bogan capital of Australia. Yes, this rudely shaped Australian state is a hotbed of bogan culture. So the answer is, Brisbane is not full of bogans. Tasmania is. So let's all make fun of Tasmania, as we were all meant to do.
As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm originally from Sydney. Well, Liverpool if you want to be specific. That makes me a Westie, which is essentially the Sydney version of a bogan. And I now live in Beenleigh, and that's seen as a hotspot of bogan culture in southeast Queensland. And come to think of it, my first car was a Tirana. I guess there's a bit of bogan in all of us. So I'll get a bourbon and cola. What do you love? On your mate. I feel so funky.